Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Oliver from RS22. I'm getting in touch, and hopefully we're all getting started. This is our very first one, so what I'd like you to do is be aware of a couple of basic house rules, so to speak. We are recording the event. I'm pretty sure that you'll have heard that as we started, so we can kind of also share it if you want to have a look through some of the information as we move forward. The ethos of RS22 is and always has been humans before technology. We are a company based in the Midlands, and ultimately what we want to do is give you the chance to see some intelligent software that could help complement your business security posture in as much of a smooth way as possible. We are still, unfortunately, waiting for our panelist, Bruce Hockin, to join in. I'm going to give him an extra 2-3 minutes, but do not worry. The reason being is that we are going to stick to the 22-minute guideline, and then obviously, if he runs short, then of course any other questions that you have will be handled by myself or Graham. I think we've got Bruce here with us now. Hi, Bruce.
Good morning.
Hi. I've just been through the basics, and the only thing that I wanted to basically do now is hand over to yourself, so you can kind of give us the best bits of Picus in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of much appreciated. Thank you very much, Oliver. Sorry about that. There's a load of confusion on signing in, so I know we've even got less time to talk now. I know that you said you've gone over the very basics, Oliver, but did you actually talk about this RS22, your approach and everything like that, and your aims?
No, so I mean, obviously, I've described who we are and what we are as a business, but you're more than welcome for you to kind of to chair this one up for us.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you very much indeed. So, from my point of view, we've been working with RS22 for well in excess of 18 months now, really since we came to the UK. They're a good, very personal business, which we really like. And they're very focused around specific areas of the cybersecurity industry. So they're a great partner for us. Thank you so much for coming along today. I really appreciate it, and thank you for finding the time to understand what we're about. I suppose one of the most important things is, why did they choose us? Why did they want to partner with us? At the end of the day, and I'll come on to this, but security automation is really the only way to keep on top of the volume of attacks these days. Okay, we inherently do a lot of things in a manual basis, and like I said, I'll come on to this, but automation, security automation is a big thing. There are many clients that RS22 deal with that have red teaming or blue teaming wants, but it's a very unaffordable thing for a lot of organizations, and to create value from that, it's a challenge. But many of their partners in wanting that also have fairly limited skills. So we are able to address a number of these challenges with RS22 and support them and their partners. So maybe some of you know what breach and attack simulation is, maybe some of you don't. So I'm going to go with a baseline that none of you know what it is. But fundamentally, from our perspective at least, and from what the industry sees, the likes of Gartner, so on, breach and attack simulation is a software that's either delivered via the cloud or in some instances on site, that simulate real-world cyber attacks with real-world payloads. And what does that do? Well, that fundamentally means that as a security team, you're able to test, very much measure, but also work out how to improve the effectiveness of your security controls. And by security controls, I mean things like next generation firewall, IPS, WAF, proxy, endpoint, mail, so on and so forth. So why would you do that? Why would you want to test your security controls? I mean, it sounds like a glibant statement. Of course you want to test them. You want to know that they're doing a good job. But you have to test, because if you don't know what they're doing, because they don't tell you how well they're doing, How do you know? You've got to do it because you want to reduce risk. You want to make sure as an organization that you're secure and safe. And we can do that with breach and attack simulation. But also we can help you drive up the productivity while saving you money. So that's really, really important. Those three things, which I'll come on to. So let's have a look at your challenges. And, you know, I'm taking a broad approach to this, right? Because not everyone will have these challenges, but let's put a statement in the sand that no one yet has disagreed with me on. And I'm very, very happy for someone to do that, because maybe I can change my approach. But let me come up with a statement. The effectiveness of your security controls, the most effective point of your security controls is the day you install it. After that point, for a number of reasons, those security controls diminish in effectiveness over time. And why is that? Well, let's come out with a broad statement that, you know, we've got a rapidly evolving threat landscape. We know that they are more sophisticated, they're more damaging, they're more automated. We've got more 0 days, more morphing of existing attacks. The most important thing here is actually the automation of it, because we have taken some fairly seriously manual processes to test our security defenses in the past. But now we are seeing more automated attacks. We have to take a more automated approach to actually blocking them and testing them. So yes, that threat landscape is very, very hard for our security tools to keep up. And when you have so many, the reason you have so many these days is that normally, you know, you go back even just a few years, we didn't really have cloud and everyone was working from a data center. And yes, we had next generation technology that was integrating this with a single pane of glass management. We didn't have a crazy amount of tools. There was a lot of consolidation in this marketplace. That was before, you know, you go back 10, 15, well, maybe 15, 20 years ago, where we had a separate VPN box and a separate firewall box and a separate IPS solution. We've seen a lot of consolidation in the market, and that was really, really helpful. But now we've seen, okay, COVID's come along and gone, oh, everyone's working from home and we're doing it really quickly and we're doing it without actually being able to test properly. Okay, but we've got to do it because it's a challenge and we've got to overcome that challenge in an expedient manner. So certainly everyone's working from home. Attack surface has gone boom. Everyone's going into the cloud because they need to deliver a software and applications quicker, because the market's changing more quickly and they've got to be more dynamic, because do you know what? The whole market isn't so cool at the moment. You've seen supply chain issues and the price of food going up, and people aren't buying as much because they're withholding and holding back. So there's a number of challenges right now. So everyone's going cloud, everyone's going home working, data centers as it is, attack surface is expanded, there are more controls, there's more drift, there's more holes in the attack surface. That's a big problem too. And also, when you actually have a look at the technologies that you use, they're constantly being reconfigured. Why are they doing that? Oh, well, because, you know, if they weren't configured correctly in the first place, they're being reconfigured to work correctly. And that happens a lot, by the way. I'm not saying RS-22 do that. Of course, no, they get it right with Checkpoint. But at the end of the day, in a lot of instances, there are misconfiguration issues. And that happens because people want to test. They want to deploy open new applications. They want to open ports. They want to deploy new technologies. That means they have to configure their environment in a different way. And certainly, those misconfigurations open holes for attackers that automated approaches can easily get through. That's a big problem. And also updates. With these plethora of security controls, how do you make sure you're on top of everything all the time? Yeah, okay, do you know what? I've got these security controls, I'll sandbox everything, I'll test everything. No, you just don't get the chance. You can't get the chance, because then the next update's out and the next update's out. So what happens is you end up missing some updates. I know this because people are honest enough to tell me that that's exactly what happens. You can't update all the time. And what happens if you miss a critical update? What happens if you miss the log4j update? That's a big, big issue. So you need to test. You need to test to work out, are my security controls doing what they should be doing, knowing all these things conspire to make sure that they don't. And how do you evidence? How do you go, do you know what? I've spent X on firewalls, I've spent X on these security controls, whatever they may be over the last year. How do you show the board it was a good move? Because if you haven't been hit, you don't know if the security controls are doing what they should be doing. And if you have been hit, it's likely that it's caused some damage and they potentially weren't. So you've got to get in early, test, work out what those security controls are doing, and then provide evidence that you're improving them by continuously testing them. And I'll show you how we can do that. Now, so, there's some questions that I kind of, these internal questions to ask yourself at the end of the day. How do you identify where you're exposed to attacks? And I mean, everywhere. Of course, you have prevention tools, no problem. And you'll get reports from those tools that will tell you exactly what's been prevented. You'll also have detection tools, maybe not as good, but at least you can see attacks, you can do something about it, you can threat hunt if they're inside your environment. That's good. But what about the unknown unknowns? There isn't a single company that I've ever dealt with that knows every single attack that's happened on inside their environment. And why? Because at the end of the day, you can't see and detect and prevent everything. You just can't. So are you prepared to live with that residual risk inside your environment, not knowing what you don't know? The best thing you can do is give yourself the ability to identify everything, have total visibility of every type of attack that could occur. And also, and this is a tough one, remediation. It's great knowing that you've got a problem and that you need to fix it. It's good knowing that because you have that opportunity to fix it. It's bad knowing that because if you spent a lot of money on red teaming or penetration testing or a vulnerability assessment or something like that, that's told you what this problem is, you're absolutely compelled to fix it. You can't explain to someone, do you know what, I spent a lot of money on a test and it threw up a lot of problems and I'm not going to do anything about it. You're compelled to fix it. The problem with being compelled to fix it is it might go against your budget, it might go against your workload and resources and timescales. So how do you manage that? How do you remediate quickly and implement quick corrective action knowing what your problems are? Think about that and I'll come on to it. And of course, how do you report and provide evidence that your security investment is optimized and doing what you're expecting it to do? But not just that, in a consistent manner. Because boards like to see flashing lights. We call it RAG, red, amber, green. They want to know things are turning from red to amber and amber to green and that things are improving. They want to see graphs where it goes up or down, whatever, but they want to see improvement. But how do you show improvement if you're not using the same and consistent testing methodology all the time? You can't do that with pen testing. They often put different people in to try different techniques with different tools. You don't know as a result of that whether your security posture is improving or not. You can't measure it. That is a challenge because the board wants to see measurements. They want to see improvements. So we have, and I'm not going to go into detail on it, but we have a number of issues with existing more manual services. Many a point in time where you do truly need continuous, or at least very regular, and that normally costs a lot of money. These services are time consuming to perform because they're not automated in the way that they should be, and many don't provide quantifiable results. If you look at red teaming, if you are interested in red teaming, and it's a great idea, it's very costly. With little or no remediation, unless you're blue teaming at the same time, in which the cost goes up again. And again, it's a single point in time because you do an assessment and then you stop. What happens the day after the assessment? There are a number of reasons why your security controls may be failing. I'm not saying they are, because you might be in a perfect position, and God bless you if you are. They may be failing because traditional techniques for managing and assessing your security controls don't cut the mustard. They're not designed to do that. And that's what breach and attack simulation is. So what do? Fundamentally, we're a purple team. We continuously validate your security controls. We do it in a way that is a red team, a blue team. We use the threat library that's got over 1,000 different threats types and multitude of payloads. We use adversarial emulation techniques to take that threat library and attack your infrastructure. And when I say attack, we're not doing that in a destructive way. We don't touch applications. We don't touch servers in that way. We're not blocking anything. It's not like a denial of service attack or anything like that. All we're doing is assessing whether your security controls let our payloads through or not. That's all we're doing. And then we're reporting on that and saying to you and providing a security score to go, do you know what? You're really great at doing that. But this particular area of your environment lets through 70% of all the attacks. And that's cool knowing that information, like I said before. And there's a lot of detail you can get. There's a lot of high level stuff you can get. You can get weekly reports. You can get daily reports if you want to, if you're that way inclined. But the fact of the matter is a lot of people do red teaming in an automated way. But the blue teaming is the really exciting bit, the mitigation. We have explicit integrations via API into the likes of Checkpoint and Paolo and F5 and Fortinet and Cisco Firepower and Citrix and ForcePoint. There's quite a few after that as well, but I won't go into all of them. It'll get boring. Why do we have those explicit integrations? What it means is that we can, one, identify where you're not blocking or preventing or detecting a particular type of attack through that security control. That's good. But helping you fix that in an expedient manner is critical. Like I said earlier, if you're told something is bad, not being told how to fix it is bad too. So ultimately, what we do is we say, here's a priority of all the things you could do to fix the holes. Here's how your percentage score increases as a result of fixing it. And here are explicit integrations, whether that's some code you've got to write or a patch you've got to download or an update in order to fix it. We actually tell you what it is, and all you've got to do is press a button to make it work. And that's super cool, because suddenly your productivity goes through the roof. You're fixing problems really, really quickly, and you're able to reallocate resource onto other issues that aren't automated, which means you can move faster and you can drive down risk. We also do the same thing for SIEM technology in your SOC, if you utilize that technology, whether it's like a Splunk or an ArcSight, QRadar, or Azure Sentinel, or whatever you might be using. And we work in exactly the same way, because, you know, a SIEM is only as good as what it detects. It's a puzzle. And without the pieces in it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That's why people get so angry about it, that they don't get the value from it. Too many false positives, alert fatigue, and all these sorts of things. And what we can do is we can teach a SIM what it's missing. We can put the pieces of the puzzle back in that improves the value that you generate from a SIEM tools. Again, drives up your productivity, lowers the amount of time that you need to be investigating the SIEM and the output from the SIEM. And that is really cool too. So that's what we do. Why do we do it? Minimize risk, improve productivity, save money. So you can see the minimize risk stuff. I mean, you know, it's quite obvious what we do to minimize risk. Improve our productivity. We can absolutely eliminate those manual processes, stuff you outsource and stuff you actually have internally as well. Through that SIEM integration, we can improve SOC efficiency. We can help you prioritize things that are important, that need fixing, and do that in an expedient manner. But you'll say, okay, that's great. How do I save money by spending money? And what we can help you do, because we've got visibilities, we can help you rationalize investments, identify redundancies in your security stack where you've got technology that's implemented, but it's not actually doing anything, really. You can take it out, save yourself some money. We can help you sweat your assets. What do I mean by that? Well, if you think you've got a solution that is failing, it is not doing its job, you might be considering replacing it. Well, what we can do is show you why it's not doing its job and show you how to make it do its job to the best of its ability. And that normally means people can say, well, I don't have to replace in year 3, I can replace in year 4. You get a better view of what your environment is doing and how to optimize it. And also you can leverage the technology to justify spending decisions. You can create bake-offs using this technology to assess potentially what you're going to bring in at a later stage. And that's really cool too, because that'll save you money too. So that's what we do. You've heard about maybe some challenges that you have. Hopefully you've learned. You've learned about what we do and the benefits. And I'll leave you with a statement. And that statement is on average, well, this was at least last year, on average, we can increase the cybersecurity effectiveness of your security controls by over 50% in 1 month. Now, wouldn't you like to know how you can do that? Wouldn't you like to also be able to say, when the board turn around and go, our biggest competitors got hit by dark side ransomware, are we safe? And you can go, I've tested it, I've run every single payload against our infrastructure, and that's no problem, and a tick in the box.
Right, I'm jumping in there, Bruce. We've hit our 22-minute mark.
I'm done.
I am fantastic. You've done a marvelous job, and I'm hoping that everyone's gained a bit of an insight into how Picus can be a great bonus to their security posture. So obviously, if any of you want to know more, by all means get in touch with Graham, who I believe obviously invited some of you and knows some of you firsthand. If not, just get back in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with Graham. He'll then be able to help set up a demo. And the only other thing I was going to mention is that we will send out a short survey that can be of use to you, so that you can kind of get basically a little bit more information on how it can help you in that process. But yeah, if anyone wants to stick around, of course, now that we've finished, this is the kind of the post drinks opportunity. So if you have any questions, pop them into the chat, and then that way we can kind of that way we can kind of pick it up from there. So unless, however, you guys want to go off, use your time to yourselves. I'll sit and wait here with Bruce, and yeah, we'll kind of see if any questions do come in.